All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the start of our weekly football press conferences that are here each Monday. This Saturday, the Derek Mason era and the Blue Raiders will take on Tennessee Tech, the games that will kick off at actually 6:02 to be exact on ESPN Plus. So for those unfamiliar, what we'll start with Coach Mason. There are people in person here and also on Zoom. So the ones on Zoom, just raise your hand for any questions. So we'll get it all started, and after Coach Mason, I'll come up and introduce our student athletes that are here today. So to get things started, I'd like to bring up the head coach, Derek Mason.
Hello, how you doing? Man, we're right back at it. It's football season, excited for this football team, the opportunities that are in front of us, and we know, like everybody else, when this time of year comes around, everybody gets excited about what is, right? So our football team is no different. And we got a lot of new pieces. We've got some brick and mortar pieces, like Nick Vadiato, when I look at Devin Curtis, Zeke Rankin. These guys have been around. So I think it's important for us as a program to realize that this isn't a rebuild, it's a reboot. And I think for us, we've had to look at ourselves and know and understand that, all things are possible. We work hard every day. The work is free. We understand with it being Tennessee Tech week, man, it provides a different flair. The Totem Bowl is back, and we actually get an opportunity to rekindle an old rivalry. And I think as these games go, and there's a lot of history. Going back to like 1960. So I think the important piece of who we are and what we do has to be on display. We've worried about us throughout camp. And then as of the middle of last week, we've turned our attention towards Tennessee Tech and Coach Wilder. Their football team's a good football team. We understand that he's been in this conference before at ODU, and he understands what this conference is. He's won at this level. He's going to prepare his football team to come in here and play good football, and our football team's got to worry about us. It's not who we play, it's how we play. So for us, I tell our guys all the time, respect our opponents, make sure that we practice the way we need to practice, be process-driven so that the outcomes that we want come about. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and turn it over to questions.
Coach, I know obviously the first game is a huge excitement factor for the players, a little bit of nervousness. Talk about yourself leading up to this week. I know this isn't your first rodeo, but talk about just your feelings and your nervousness, your excitement coming into this first game.
Well, for me, I'm excited. Of course, you get a chance to be back on the sideline. I believe that's the fun part of this game. I'm hard on guys in practice, so these guys are probably getting the brunt of what it looks like as we've even transitioned from camp to game week. But I'm pretty quiet on game day. It's more about the analytics and the strategies that go along with in-game adjustments, and that's where my mind will be. I make practices hard for these guys, right? And so I'm on them every day so that we practice at a level that allows our in-game performance to be exactly what we need it to be. Okay, and I don't care who we play. Again, it goes back to how we play. But the excitement piece for me right now is probably at a fever pitch, right? Because it's going to get a little higher and stronger as we get closer to game. Right now, I'm just having my morning cup of joe and sitting back and looking at tape like everybody else.
Speaking of looking at tape, when you have a new staff and particularly in the portal area when these teams can change so much year to year, how do you go about scouting a team like Tennessee Tech that has changed so much from last season, and what's standing out to you about them on tape right now?
I look at this football team, this Tennessee Tech football team, and Coach Wilder's gone with a familiar face offensively. You get a chance to look at Coach Scott and, what he's done and where he's been. New Hampshire, man, they've been pretty good. They put up numbers offensively, and they had a Walter Payton, or they have two players, former running back and a quarterback are up, for the Walter Payton Award. That offense put up prolific numbers, top 10 in passing and rushing. So I think in what he sees with his offensive coordinator is somebody that he knows well, was with him at ODU. They know how to put together game plans. They know how to develop players, and that's really what this conference and this level of ball is about. Can you develop players? On the other side of the ball, when I look at Greg Jones, I think like Greg is smart, right? His defenses have been able to pressure, and they were one of the tops in FCS a year ago. With tackle for losses, I think they averaged close to 8 tackle for loss a game. They know how to pressure. They're going to get you in difficult situations. They want to stop the run and make sure that they can find ways and opportunities, man, to create bad situations for us. So I think we're going to have our hands full, right? First games are always that. It's about the team that makes the least amount of mistakes and the team that can go out and operate and function the way they're supposed to.
Going into the opening game and after a tough fall camp like you mentioned, how do you feel health-wise going in with this group?
We've had to toughen our leather a little bit, so it's looked a little different for these guys. They probably hit a little more, but I thought we came out of it the way we went into it, right? I mean, a couple of bumps and bruises, but nothing really significant, and that's a testament to our athletic training staff, but it's also the importance that we put on recovery. We tell our guys all the time, your body's your job. I don't live in your body. I don't know your body like you do. But I think these guys took all that to heart. Our practices have been different with our practice schedule being in the morning. It's been like a total 180 in terms of everything that they've had to adjust to. But our guys have taken the challenge. We talk about being trained and untrained. Trained guys find a way to make sure that they're regimented. Untrained guys find a way to make all types of mistakes. And so for us, when you don't take care of your body, that's the biggest mistake you can have because the best ability is availability.
Coach, going into this first week, how do you kind of, I know we talked about managing your excitement and your nerves, how do you kind of prepare the team for just their nerves going into this first game because you want to show out for fans in the first week?
Right.
How do you prepare the team for that this week?
Process, right? The work is free. We come out every day. Every day is a job interview. And really, it's as simple as just doing your job. Tell guys all the time, the uniform itself is like a superhero outfit, right? You get in the uniform, but the thing you can't let it do is change your personality. The biggest thing that you got to do is just go out and do your job. Everybody's got a 1/11th, right? Offense, defense, and special teams. And these guys have to rely on each other. That's the one thing about football, man. You got to rely on the guy next to you. One play may be yours, the next play, maybe not, man. But you can affect every play by just doing your job. And if we can keep it that simple and make it the team game that it is, that's when you see good things happen. Man, I'm sure we've all watched football like this past weekend, man. You saw it with Georgia Tech in the Florida State game. I think, man, that was a great example of just being who you are and understanding at the end of the day that football is a 4-quarter game. And what you have to do is be able to stand up, do your job, be counted on, and if you do that, again, good things will happen.
Coach, you've recruited players. How are you going to recruit the fans to come out to these games against Tennessee Tech?
I appreciate the question. Recruiting these fans is one of these things where it's not a one-day deal. This has been a 7-month, 8-month process, right? From day one, what we wanted to do is serve this community, serve the Middle Tennessee community as best we could, and we hope that in the end that they would, want to come join us, right? Because they've gotten a chance to know our players. They've gotten a chance to know this football team. And this football team is fully representative of this community. So now let's make sure the rubber meets the road, right? This place should be one of the loudest stadiums in college football to play, especially Group of 5. There shouldn't be a reason from our fans to where we sit, the pregame experience that's going to be in the Grove, 3 hours before kickoff to what happens at kickoff. It should be a great family experience, a great opportunity, and if you can find an environment, that gives you more bang for the buck, I'll tell you to go get it. But come try this first. See what it's like, and if you don't like it, come see me.
All right, everyone got a couple of questions on Zoom. On Zoom, we'll start with Noah Maddox.
Hi, Coach. Noah Maddox with the Times Gazette. You were talking about the, Tennessee Tech's defense, top 30 in the FCS last year. First question is how important it is to have a returning quarterback to be able to deal with those type of things in the season opener against a team that brought back all four of their all-conference defenders from last season.
Yeah, that's right. Noah, thank you for the question. When you look at having a veteran quarterback, he's been in ball games. He understands what that means when you have an all-conference front coming at you. But here's the deal. He also knows that he's got to lean on his front to make sure that he can stay upright. He's going to have to make sure that he gets us in the right place. He's going to have to make sure at the end of the day that he can lead, okay, with a level of confidence that allows our guys to be exactly who they need to be on any given play. I think the experience of Nick Vattiato in this space allows us to feel somewhat comfortable in what we can accomplish in terms of series to series, play to play. But it's like anything else. You got to go out. They're going to swing for the fences. We're going to swing for the fences, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a good old-fashioned football game. That's the way games start, and we'll see how it ends.
All right, next on Zoom, Mr. Chris Harris.
Hey, Coach, good morning.
Hey, Chris.
I'm just curious, for the first time out, what's one facet of your team that you are most curious to see as they take the field?
I'm really just looking to see how this team collectively feeds off each other. I think this is a football team that's not about, like the tentacles. I think it's about the sum of the parts. I think collectively, we are a team. I know people are going to talk about Nick. I know people are going to talk about DC, but I think we got a lot of players that people don't know, right? And I think these players have worked hard to sort of find their way, climbing up the roster. To me, I could look at special teams and say I'm interested to see how this Luke Pascal-led special teams is going to perform. Obviously, we want to make a dent in special teams. We want to be a creme de la creme when it comes to this idea of how we play, what it looks like. So I'm really excited for all facets and everybody. We've created depth. I like to see how this depth performs, right? You want to see it offensively and defensively. And we've just asked guys to embrace their role. No matter what the reps are, embrace your role. Let's look at the opportunity to get better. And the common goal is to win. So let's make sure that we keep our eye on the prize, play a 60-minute, four-quarter ball game, and let's see where it takes us.
Got another question from Noah Maddox.
Yeah, Coach. Quarterback last year for Tennessee Tech, a freshman, but an experienced offensive line returning 4 starters.
Right. I think for our group, we don't have to get outside ourselves. I think, the game is going to give us things that sort of challenge, in parts of who we are and what we do, right? We say simple things on the defensive side of the ball, right? Build a wall, set an edge, track a hip, play top down. Well, that's the way the game needs to be played. We need to be physical up front. We need to change the line of scrimmage. We talk about knockback. These are common things. You're going to deploy schemes, but at the end of the day, it's still a man-whoop-a-man game. You still got to move the line of scrimmage. And that's where their experience is going to meet our inexperience a little bit. But it's not about we may not have a ton of guys who have played together up front, but here's what we do have. We have older guys. Okay, we have veteran guys, and I think guys who have waited their turn, they're strong. I mean, when you start to look at DeMonte, when you start to look at Alex, when you start to see where Shakai Woods has gone, you look at I look at Jay Stu. I get a chance to look at Buck. I get a chance to look at Bynum. I think we have functional depth, okay, within our defensive line to say we've got places to go. I'm excited to see what Felix Hickson does, transfer from South Carolina. I truly believe This group has been challenged. They're going to continue to be challenged. And you know what? Nobody's talking about this group. Nobody even knows their name. You know, and so like for them, it's a no-name sort of, group of guys, man, that hopefully like people start to recognize exactly who they are. But right now, they're just a bunch of nobodies.
There are a couple of operational rule changes this year with the in-helmet communication and also the new 2-minute timeout. How has the helmet communication worked so far in scrimmages and practice, and how does the 2-minute timeout affect how you handle what you keep in your pocket?
Thanks, Chip. I look at where we are now with a player-to-coach communication. That's gone well. It was a part of the game that was going to come. Okay, we saw this thing coming a couple of years ago, and now it's made its way into college football. I think it allows the quarterback and the offense coordinator, to seamlessly deal with play calling and not always having to go to wristbands and trying to figure out crowd noise, this, that, and the other. So it's made that facet of the game that much easier, right? Because now, with the coach to player, it's seamless. So that part is good. I think defensively, it's probably a bigger adjustment for the defensive guys than it is the offensive guys. Because getting it, one guy gets it, but everybody's got to communicate it, right? They do that offensively. Defensively, communication is not a one-man job. So you got to make sure that you get it echoed across. When you look to the flip side of what's happened with rule changes and you understand what's happening with the 2-minute piece, now you have to know, like going in, there's a possible third timeout. There's a possible, second timeout at the 2-minute warning. So you have to be aware of when you use your timeouts, how that allows you to gather yourself and what that can do, for you in a 2-minute situation or like a situation where a team is really trying to close you out. Okay, in a 4-minute drive situation, and they have the football. You really have to make sure, man, that you reserve time on the clock, for your offense if you're looking to get the ball back. So I think those changes and it being more like the NFL adds a little bit of drama or melodrama to what you're going to see in college football. I think it's going to be a fun time.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate everybody. Go Blue. Look forward to seeing you at 6 o'clock on Saturday.
All right, everyone, now it's time for our student athletes. With us today is quarterback Nick Vadiato and then safety Brendan Harris. We'll get started with Nick.
Morning.
Nick, 3 All-OVC defenders, 1 at each level, back for Tennessee Tech this year. Obviously, with transition, bit different film study right now, but what are you seeing from them and your scout that you're preparing for right now?
Yeah, they have top to bottom on their defense is a talented group. And, I know they have a new defensive staff, defensive coordinator coming from Gardner-Webb. And, that's interesting when you're trying to break down film and study for an opponent. You're not necessarily watching so much Tennessee Tech, so it's hard to get a idea of personnel. But at the same time, we understand as an offense, that's a good group over there. They have returning all-conference players. They have added support from the portal. And they're going to be ready to play, and they're going to come ready to play, and their defensive coaches are going to have them ready to play. And so, at the end of the day, that's a good group, and we cannot look past that, and we're not. We have to take it serious. That's a really good group, and they're going to play fast. They're going to play physical. They're going to play for their coach. And listen, like I said, it's a talented group, top to bottom, and we got to do what we can this week to prepare for them.
Looking internally to what y'all are doing, one thing Coach Reeder said in camp was the passing game needed trust and timing to be built sort of over August. How did that process go so far as far as building trust with so many new guys that you're throwing the ball to this year?
Expected when you have so many, fortunate enough, we have a lot of new playmakers that we were fortunate enough to get out of the portal between Amari, Gamarion, Miles, Hayes, even in the tight end room with additions like Ryan and, even with our backs out of the backfield, just getting used to what we're doing. Obviously, like everything, when it's new, it started out a little rocky, but we put it to work throughout camp, throughout the summer, really in the summer, throughout the summer and throughout camp, just working hard at it each day. And when you work hard at it, you're obviously going to get better at it. And I think we did a really good job of just chipping away each day and getting better and building that chemistry with each other. And I'm really excited with where we're at, and I'm really excited to like just show everyone else like kind of where we're going and what kind of chemistry we have with each other. And I think it's going to be really special.
Nick, you said you were given a history lesson on the Tech rivalry. Tell me the best or funniest story you heard about the totem pole during this history lesson.
Well, Chip was fortunate enough to tell me and Brendan some stories before he got started here, and he was just talking about some aerospace guys that back in the day would, they would take their planes, they would fly over Tennessee Tech's campus or football field and drop things all over the place. And I mean, you got to be brave to do some of that stuff. I'm not flying any planes, but if any of the aerospace guys want to take their planes over to Cookeville this week, I mean, that's on them. But no, there's a lot of history behind this game. It's a rivalry game, and our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Blatnick, was fortunate enough. He before we lifted yesterday, he got each lift group together, and he actually showed us the totem pole that's in our Hall of Fame that we used to play for, and I know we call it Harvey. And he was just trying to stress the importance of like what this game's about, and there's a lot of history behind it, and you can't, nothing should be taken lightly. And I think that was his message, is that like, listen, like we're going in, and this is a game that we're taking serious, and that's all it is.
Nick, how's it been preparing with Coach Reeder for this game against Tennessee Tech?
Yeah, I think throughout my time I've had, it's my third different offense coordinator, and I think each one has been a little different, but I think just getting to know Coach Reeder and getting comfortable with him, like we have a really, really good understanding of each other, and I think we work really well together. I think between just whether it's film breakdown, trying to get the defensive scheme, or just trying to figure out what we want to do on a weekly basis going into a game. It's been really fun. It's been really fun. He's a great offensive mind, a great football mind, and I think just getting to watch him do what he does best in terms of game planning and pick his brain and ask him questions about what's going on and why he thinks this is going to work. And it's been really fun to do. And I think this is our first game going into our first game together, and I'm super excited about it. I mean, like I said, we he's a very detail oriented kind of person, and I like that. I'm very detail oriented, and I like to be organized. So I'm really excited about what we have. Obviously, like when you have like a little more time preparing for that first game, just because it's the first game, and so like he's been hard at work, and he's had the quarterbacks on point with everything. So I'm super excited going into this first week.
Nick, going into this week, first time with a new head coach, what have kind of the feelings or the vibes around the team been this week? Is there any kind of a different feeling than years past surrounding the team?
I mean, I'd say that we've done a great job. Coach Mason's had us do, just locked in. I mean, like I know he just said it, like he's hard on us during practice. I mean, it's a good thing. After practice yesterday, speaking to the team, he was just like, no one's good enough to just flip a switch on game day. Like it's every day that you got to be locked in. And I mean, even on off days, like we're not practicing today, but guys got to be mature enough and understand, like you got to come up on your own, you got to watch film, you got to take care of your body and do the things that you need to do throughout the week, Monday through Friday, in order to play your best on Saturday. And I just think that that's something that he preaches, and it's something that us as a team has to understand is like, we're working Sunday through Friday to get prepared for Saturday. And I think as a team, like we're excited, we're ready to go. First game of the season, super excited for what's to come. And I think the guys, the locker room, a lot of positive energy. I think we're excited to get out there and show everyone what we can do. And I think it's going to be really special.
Got a couple questions on Zoom. First up, Jeremy Kellum.
How you doing, Nick, man? Being a South Florida kid myself, man, I kind of know our mentality, like growing up playing football down there. But what was your mentality going into this offseason with a new coaching staff, choosing not to transfer and just taking that personal challenge? So what was your mindset trying to prove and show to the coaches that you still are the man for the job?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I wouldn't say that my mindset changed a lot. I mean, I think, going in the offseason, my mindset was to just improve myself as a player. And, coming in with a new offensive staff and a new head coach, I think just wanted to do my best, like get to know them, start building good relationships with them. And, we hit the ground running with football. And, I think just especially with Coach Reeder, getting to know him and making sure that we were going to be on the same page about what his vision was for this offense. I just wanted to attack this offseason, and learning a brand new offense, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, and I think there was just some learning curves in the beginning, and we but we worked through them. The spring was super important, just kind of getting down the offense with the ins and outs of everything, whether it's the run game or the pass game, and I think something that's super big is just like that we were on the same page about everything, and he's been a great coach, a great teacher, and I think just on a personal level, just trying to better myself, whether it was in the weight room, whether it had to do with my footwork, just overall kind of bettering myself as a quarterback and bettering myself as a leader for this team. Just attacked it as the only way I know how, and I didn't leave anything that I didn't leave the offseason saying I wish I would have done this or I wish I would have done that. I put a lot of work into it, just as the rest of this team did, and we worked hard together. And there was days that sucked, but at the end of the day, like those are the days that are gonna make you better. And so just really excited. The first game's coming up, and we get to see all that hard work that we've put into the offseason come to life. So I'm excited for it.
All right, next on Zoom, Noah Maddox.
Hey, Nick. Noah Maddox, Shovel Times Gazette. Last year, you guys obviously went on the road at Alabama, a playoff team and everything that comes with that. This year, getting to open up at home. What is the difference in that? And what did you learn from last year, the season opener? And how excited are you for Saturday opening up at home instead of on the road?
Yeah, I think it brings a different kind of energy. It brings a different kind of life to the start of the season. Especially with our new, as we call it, our new era starting with Coach Mason and our new, how many new players we have. I think it's really special to be able to open up at home in front of our fans. And, I hope that I know for a fact that a lot of people are going to show out and show up, and I'm super excited for that. And, it's something that, we've been looking forward to for a long time now. I mean, the schedule's been set for a while. I think opening up at home, opening up your season at home and kicking it off the right way is super important. It's going to set the tone for the rest of your season. So, last year's last year, and, that just is what it is. I'm super excited to be able to open up at home with these players, with these coaches, and, kind of show these fans what we've been working towards and what we're all about.
Another question from Jeremy Kellum.
Yes, Nick. When I was my senior year at MC, we had a defensive coordinator change, and that system allowed me to showcase more of my man coverage skills than my previous years. In this new offensive system, do you feel like you're going to be able to showcase any other skill set being in a new system than you were, in your previous years? I see in the scrimmage you were able to still show your amazing running ability and throwing ability, but any other skill set you feel like will be showcased in this new offensive system?
Yeah, I mean, I think every offensive scheme's a little different. I think every offensive coordinator has a vision, and I think that Coach Reeder and I have done a great job of just kind of understanding each other. And he's always said, he's like, and not just to me, but to our offense in general, he's like, we're gonna run what you guys are good at. He's not trying to force us to do things that he wants to do because it's his way or the highway. Like, he wants us to be successful in what we're doing, and he wants to run things that he knows we're good at. And I think that we've kind of found that. We've found our flow in terms of what we do really well. We have talented guys on the outside. We have really talented running backs, tight ends that can do a lot of different things, and an O-line who's going to come ready to play. So, in terms of what I do, I think I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to give us the best chance to win. And that's doing whatever I need to do, whether it's, whether it comes in the run game and I'm making my run checks, or whether, we're going to air it out throughout the course of a game. It's not really about what I'm doing and what I can bring. It's just about, what can I do for this offensive unit as a whole, and how is that going to help us to win? Because in the end, I think that is the main goal, and that's to win. And however that comes is how we're going to do it.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Next up, Brendan Harris.
Good morning.
Brendan, obviously new coordinator for Tennessee Tech this year on the offensive side. Coach Mason talked a little bit about how prolific they were at their previous stop. What are you seeing on the film study right now that you guys are prepping for on the defensive side?
So as we watching film, they're a new team, new offensive players, new coaching staff. So really, when we're watching film, we're just trying to get some tips, some tendencies, just so we can get an advantage when we see them in the game. But going into this game, more so it's about what we do and how we do it. You know, we can run cover 3 the entire game. It's just the way we do it and how we play. So we're just more so focused on our mentality coming to this game and our style of play.
I talked to Coach Stewart in camp a little bit about you being the guy with the radio in the helmet. How has that sort of communication between the two of y'all gone so far, and how have you gotten used to that sort of part of college football in 2024?
Helpful, because, you know, the defensive coordinator, the guys in the box, they can kind of see things that we can't see. So it's just another added layer of protection and another advantage we may get. They may see something that gives us a tip, and he can let me know, and I can communicate it to the rest of the guys on the field.
How much extra do you see sort of at the back of the defense in the safety position that you're able to communicate when you get those sort of things in? You're in the back of the defense at safety, so you're seeing stuff that maybe the linebackers and the D-line aren't seeing as well. How quickly can you communicate that in those situations?
It just helps with, again, going back to film study and being able, and anticipating plays, anticipating formations. So as I see them, I'm able to communicate with the other DBs on the field and pass it down just to later layers from the linebackers to the D-line.
Brendan, how is kind of a refreshed secondary, I mean really a refreshed team, to be honest, but like how is the secondary gelled throughout camp and started playing together as they kind of came from all different colleges and just transferred in, and how have you guys gelled together?
It's really just been time and effort put in. You know, practice has been hard. Camp was really hard. And we have a good defensive staff here. We've bought in and we've trusted what they've put down and the game plan they put in. So as guys have just molded into their positions and accepted their roles, you know, we just become together as one, and we're able to play really fast out there.
Brendan, you're in a unique club, one of only 34 seventh-year guys across the country. You trying to milk every last memory out of what playing college football has been for you?
This year is just more so what I can do for others. You know, I've been playing college football for 6 years, and honestly, I have the mindset of trying to get everything I can out of all the coaching staff, all of the players, all of the knowledge I can. But this time around, I would like to just be able to give back to the younger guys, give back to Coach Mason, give back to this team. So it's more so for me the stamp I can leave on MTSU and what I can do for others.
We have Noah Maddox on Zoom.
Hey, Noah Maddox for the show. Thompson there. Kind of piggybacking off of Chip's question a little bit. That experience that you have, how can you use that and help out this defense as a whole moving forward in this season and you guys as a unit playing together?
Appreciate the question. So throughout my time being able to play, as you get more experience and as you get more time on the field, there's things you see. Schematically, there's kind of things you pick up on, and you kind of learn the game in a different way. To a younger guy who may be coming more slow to, and they may be less adept to see things that I see, it's more so just trying to get in the film room with them or we're on the field, kind of just get them to see the football, the game the way that I see it through my lens, and maybe just pick up on a tendency there or a trick here to help them and be able to help them make more plays on the field.
Anything else for Brendan? Thanks, Brendan.
Appreciate it.
All right, everyone, that concludes today's press conference. Just a reminder, next week, yes, it's Labor Day, but we will still be back here on Monday preparing for our first road game. So thank you for joining us.